Good morning, students. This class we will discuss about Solex Pneumatic Comparator. Comparator is an instrument that is used to measure precision of a given component. So comparator never give that right values of the given component. So it's used to compare with the standard or actual working. By comparing the dimension of a given component with the actual working standard. So this is that comparator. Here we discussed Solex Pneumatic Comparator. So air cage has been developed and marketed by Solex Air Cage Limited. Yes. Solex pneumatic cage is generally used for the inspection of internal dimension. So Solex generally used for to check that internal dimension of a cylindrical component. But suitable measuring head it can be used for external caging also. If it's possible, have to measure for the external cage with the setup of a suitable measuring head. In this comparator, so various parts available. So this is that represent a schematic represent of Solex pneumatic cage. Here that air is a main medium, uh, filter, pressure regulator, water tank, then a manometer tube, then a measuring head. So measuring head is differ for each and every component. So what type of components you have to check to based on you have to choose that measuring head. So now we discuss one by one. So in this comparator, compressed air is used as an operating medium. So air is compressed in that compressor. Compressed air from the compressor passes through that air filter. So to remove that dust particles, unwanted things, if anyone to present in this air, it will to affect that results. Suppose dust particles present in the air are separated from the air in the air filter. So only have to pass or center that pure air passes through that filter. After passing from the filter, the air pipe is divided into two ways. Air goes to the tank, air goes to that restricted jet or air phase. So once that air leave from that compressor, then you have to filter. Then the air to passes through that water tank, and also some of the air to passes through the control orifice or orifice jet. After passing from the filter, the air pipe is divided into two ways. So already said earlier to go to that water tank and go to that orifice jet. Air enters the water tank, bubbles will be created in the tank, and the rest of the air which passes through the orifice reaches to reach that caging head. So once that air to reach that water tank, the air bubbles is already water is stored in that water tank. Once the air to reach on that water tank, the bubbles it will be formed. Once have to check that component before have to maintain that level of water is equal water tank level and that manometer tube level. Manometer shows the initial pressure by which the air passes through that caging head. So you have to check, you have to confirm the level of water in the manometer and water tank is equal. Cage head is generally used to examine the internal diameter of the cylinder, whether it's irregularities or not. So already I said, so this comparator is not used to measure the dimension to whether that particular respective component are okay or not. Internal wall of the cylinder restrict the air coming out of the jet of that caging head. So here the opening provisions here. So the air is reaches to that measuring head and it will be leave through that open. So back pressure will be created as the internal wall restricts the air coming from the jet. Gap between the jet and the internal wall cylinder. So that gap between jet and that internal wall cylinder, it will be vary. So it depends upon that component. Back pressure is created, the air which is passing through the caging head will return back and it will go inside that manometer tube. So the air is not go outside. So already I said here is it depends upon that components surface appearance. So air is not gone outside. The back pressure, the air it will be come back to this direction and it will be push that water level. So the water level it will be vary. Say the manometer tip and is a backflow of air will push down that water inside of that manometer. Initially, when we have to start the process, we have to the level we are maintain. Now it will be that level it will be vary. So initially, standard workpiece is taken in which the internal wall is perfectly flat. Once you have to start the process, before you have to taken that standard specimen and you have to confirm how much variations, if any deviations is there. You have to correctly have to place that specimen. Used to calibrate that pneumatic comparator. It will be help to calibrate that pneumatic comparator. Standard workpiece is known as a reference workpiece because it is used to get that reference pressure. Then only you have to know how much amount of pressure you have to send from that compressor. Air entered in the internal wall of the cylinder and there are any irregularities of the internal wall, the back pressure in the comparator is created. So already I said. So we are never expect each and every component to get a smooth appearance. Definitely it will be vary each and every component. So the changes it will be occur during the process. The H value it will be vary for each and every component. So already I said the water inside that manometer is pushed down. Hence the water level inside the manometer falls. We get the height difference between the water level and the tank level. So definitely the changes it will become the tank level and the water level. The height difference is denoted by delta H. After that cage head is placed in different portions. Once you have to start the process, you have to keep it initially. Then we have to move to next level. Then you have to changes. What changes occur during the process in this hatch value? You have to find out. The after that cage head is placed at different portions inside the cylinder and delta H is noted for different points, various positions you have to place it in that measuring head so that the roughness throughout the cylinder can be measured. Roughness you have to easily to measure. So what type of roughness to be produced, it will be reflect through that level of water. Yes, what are the advantages of Solex pneumatic cage? A caging head does not come into the direct contact. There is no direct contact between the caging head and the workpiece with the part to be measured. So no wear and tear takes place caging member or objects. It's used to measure whether that component is okay or not. What are the disadvantages? Different caging heads. So already said earlier, depends the components you have to choose that cage heads are required for different dimensions. Then auxiliary equipments such as air filter, pressure cages and regulators are needed. So compared to that mechanical comparator like Johansson, it's not compact because of have need to help to check the dimension of a given component. Thank you.